Vanessa Moodley, as mentioned. I'm from Actonville Primary School out on the East Rand. Yes, a school that hit the newspapers about 6 years ago. Principal, nephew wielding a long knife like that, chasing the deputy down until the cleaner fell over him to protect him. Teachers being abused physically, and a few being in hospital, depression, stress, and chaos. Absolutely dysfunctional. And I was at the district office, Ekurhuleni North District Office. I was asked to, by the director, during my lunch hour, I walked to the lift, and he said, "Vanessa, I need your help." And I said, yes, because I'm always willing to help. And he said, "I need you to go to Actonville Primary." I said, "You must be joking." I had taught there in the 80s, 70s, late 70s, 80s. I had taught there. It was a beautiful school. But we had already seen what happened in the newspaper. And he said, "I need an answer immediately." I said, "No, I'll give you that answer tomorrow morning." I went back to my 4th floor office with HR, Development and Training, and I said, "Guys, Mr. Charles asked me to go to Actonville Primary," and they said, "You must be crazy." So I went home, I prayed on it, and I opened my Bible in the morning, and it said community. And I said, "I think this is my path." But a month before that, I had gone down to the 3rd floor to work out my package and see what was coming for me so that I could move on to my life purpose, which was more welfare, charity, whatever. It so happened that Actonville Primary really became that. Welfare, charity, indigent, you name it. But I've had to see that welfare and charity, indigent learners, became my sole purpose in another way. And that's where I am now, 6 years, this is the 6th year. Walking into the school, yes, I walked in like a lady. I walked in with heels, I walked in with a beautiful suit, like I look today. And when my teachers see me dressed like this, they want to know, where am I going? Yes, they know I'm going somewhere, because I'm not dressed like this every day. I'm dressed for maintenance, carpentry, whatever. Okay? So I walked into the school so prim and proper, and I walked into this office and it was empty. There was nothing. There was nothing for me. Not a chair, a table, a piece of wood that was put onto the table. There were nice cupboards, of course, I think I saw that. No files, all taken away. When the principal was dismissed, he walked off with these 100 files. I don't know how that happened though. Anyway, it was starting from scratch. And by the end of the week, I was in gumboots, my pants tucked in, jacket, and I was all over. I was turning doors upside down, putting the handles on the other side, stopping the public from coming in because they were walking in and using the school as public toilets. I had to watch teachers walking past each other and shouldering each other, bumping each other, pulling each other's phones. So this is what I had faced, and it was a huge change. It was a huge eye-opener to see human beings carrying on this way. Mind you, the poison continued. The principal had about 9 members of family within the school who had to be dispersed, but a few remained. And most of all, his sister remained. So the day I was really appointed, I went in an acting capacity, and the day I was appointed to the post, she cried bitterly because she knew that her brother's post was closed. And I walked up to her and I said, "I'm meant to be here, ma'am. You taught with me in the 80s. You were at another school with me. You know my ability, you know my potential, and I'm here to see to your farewell." And mind you, I gave her the best farewell she could find 2 years ago, and a year ago she passed on, and we still went on to do her farewell at her funeral. With, I must say, a poisonous family, because the family were all out to get the department to, they didn't like what happened to their entire family. And so it was a difficult, difficult task. But I think what we needed to do was walk in. And you couldn't get me, and even if you try now, don't call me, message me. You'll never get me during the day. I don't have 2 deputies who have now since retired, an HOD that took a year to have the post filled in. So it was difficult. The past 2 years have been majorly difficult with not having management, proper management. Nevertheless, when you step in and you are positive and you get moving and you know that there's going to be a change of scenery and you know that we are all going to keep on learning here, you suddenly tune in. You tune in and you tune into what comes to you to make things happen. The whole idea, principles, is making things happen. Teachers must come in after the holiday and see a change. Teachers must come in, learners must come in and say, wow, something new. They take ownership of their school. So the first way was to introduce values. When I walked into the school, I realized that a few things had to be forced onto the rest of the team. I had to force it down their throat. And most of it was the values I walked in with. Authenticity, integrity, accountability. These are the things we had to look at, looking at professionalism and also the responsibility. Time management, because the siren would wail and you wouldn't get people in their classrooms. They weren't used to moving into their classrooms. So I had to define professionalism under various synonyms. I had to define authenticity. I had to define integrity. And when you show them that you would not waver as a principal, you don't change your constituency for one or for the other. You remain consistent. And when you show them that you'll stand firm, you are this pillar, and you are rooted to that ground, you've won them. You've won them. They know they won't take that chance with you, and they know what you mean. You mean business. You mean everything in that school must be authentic. Where I found the deputy principal even changing the report, signing next to it, after I had signed it. So they knew we had to go to the law. We had to go to labor with issues like that. I had to report it because I preached professionalism, authenticity, and integrity. And if you show them that, and if you have it, and they don't see you walking off with the school printer that you're going to use at home and come back the day. Because if they want it, you'll have to give it to them as well, to the teacher as well. So what applies to them applies to you as well. Then you win them over. So I walked into the school and I walked into the centers and I said, there's nothing here. There's pessimism. This is not what I thought I was coming to. Doubt, blame, hatred, insecurities, unworthiness. And I turned all of that around to say, we're going to have joy. We're going to have empowerment. We're going to have passion for this job. We are going to have hopefulness, positive belief, empathy, expectations that we want to achieve. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it became the biggest task I've ever had in my life. So when you walk in and you say, oh, I'm whole. I've walked in as such a whole person. Yes, I've come in walking tall. And when you walk in and you realize, is this what I wish I knew when I became a principal? Here you go. Is it on? Yes. Okay, Mary. Okay, please take a picture.
Does it turn around?
Yeah, we'll turn around just now.
Does it turn around?
So, what is that? Turn around.
Turn around, yeah. I'm coming. Just give me a second.
That's my choice.
Can I go?
And you should be entertaining. That we're going to start from here. Thank you, and you should be able to model this. What is that, ladies and gentlemen? What is that, principals? What is that? That's your job description. That's your job description. Not put out to you before you went. You didn't speak about all of that in the interview, did you? No. And then you realize that you have to be this powerhouse. You'll have to be this powerhouse. You'll have to be a problem solver, and you'll have to be a listener as well. My admin staff are very worried about that jersey because I had it on last week, and they said, "Are you really going to staple on that?" And I said, "Yes." They said, "Please don't spoil it." I said, "I'll bring it back tomorrow. You take off the staple." So you know your role when you go in, but you ask yourself, is this what I wish I knew before I came in?
Can I take it?
No. Stay there, Melanie. And then I want somebody else. You want to come through, Anita? So on certain days, you know this is your role, you know you have to do it, and you walk into school and suddenly children are playing with syringes. They picked up, the druggies are outside the school. So the syringes are on the floor, on the roads. And they pick, you know what Actonville is? Drug addicts. Yes, you know what Actonville is, Mr. Madoda. And they pick up the syringe and they're piercing each other the entire day, and you don't know it's happening until the needle gets stuck into one's leg. And after it's stuck, the child, you've got to call the paramedics, the child has to go for an operation. The next morning, the accident is right outside your school. You didn't ask for all of that. So from seeing to all those duties, all those job functions, you suddenly torn to pieces, and you realize that you are becoming combat Jane. So you are becoming combat Jane, where every stakeholder, each department wants this, SGB wants that, parents want something, the learner needs you because they're indigent, they don't even have their food to eat. And you become combat Jane, where you go home that day feeling like somebody's taken this AK and has really riddled you for that day. So and you still have to, nevertheless, go next to her, you still have to perform all those functions. Am I correct, sir? You really ask yourself, what is going on? I went to my staff on Monday, and I said, by Monday afternoon, I said, teachers, I want to just give you a bit of my typical day. Firstly, the learner walks in crying. Somebody's bullied him on the ground. Fine. So he says, "Madam, but my children greet me this way. I love you." Because the first thing I did was introduce the 5 values of peace, love, truth, right action, non-violence, so that I could have something going to create the right atmosphere at school. And then that comes in. Here you get a teacher walking, "Madam, I'm not well," and Madam V. And then you get another teacher walking, "Madam V, my child is ill, can I run home? I'll administer the medication, I'll be back." And then you get a third teacher walking in, Madam V. And I was busy writing it, "Madam, will you look at me when I talk to you?" And I said, so many different personalities in one day. And by the afternoon, I enacted the same thing to the teachers. I said, "Teachers, you have a few HODs. I don't have deputies. But if I'm faced with this from the morning, I didn't have a breather. By 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I couldn't eat my lunch because there's no deputies to see to other parents, whoever had been coming in." And that's what I was doing the whole day. And still, I had to walk around that school and see that it's functioning. So yes, you have to build strength, you have to build resilience, and you have to show that you're going to make it happen, people, or else you are going to crumble as a principal. I've started to look at, in this last 5 years, I managed to set up centers for the children, like a math center, a library, a reading room, a great art project there, where my little one, 6-year-old, knows how to code. He says it's coding, puts on the laptop, the projector, and all on his own, 6-year-old. Okay? Soccer Light Center, done by the Prince of Monaco for me, Prince Albert. So all that has come through as projects every year. I don't ask for money. I don't want money. I don't want money. I want projects. So when you ask for that, people know you are genuine. But I'm at the stage where I'm starting to evaluate the brain. Because as a principal, you're working with so many personalities. You have 50 staff members and everybody thinks differently. And they're so sensitive. So you look at your 4 quadrants of the brain and you tell yourself that I am going to change something. I'd like this group to please take one of this. I'd like this group to take the stickies. And I didn't do this group. Right, this group, here's 3 shapes. You can just show it to them. The group that has I've really settled my school interest in terms of infrastructure. So I'm starting to look at personalities and how to please these sensitive and emotional people and how to get them to work together as teamwork. So I'm analyzing them according to the animals that you're seeing there. Because each animal gives you a sense of leadership and you need to look into that. So look into that, explore it. I've got the big file, I think, there.
It's the big one.
Yes. You know the giraffe, I've included the giraffe because it's always sticking its neck out, always because it wants to know what the other person is doing. You'll find all that in the school. The shapes, I have done this before for people who did ethical leadership with me. The shapes are what type of leader are you? That's the teacher, the RCL, the management, and yourself. What type of leader are you? Are you a cube? Are you a pyramid, a flat-faced pyramid, or a sphere? Many go for this, but once you roll down the hill, you're not coming up again. Okay? Many go for this, you think in compartments. Yes, you have those 4 boxes there. Okay? And then others go for this. And this gives you your peak performance because all stakeholders can come together and go up. Your stickers, I'd like you to, sorry sir, I'd like you to pass this around and take a notepad. I want to take this back with me so you can continue. Everybody take a sticky, okay? Because in your profession, there's something that becomes a sticky in your life. Okay? At your school. And you don't know how to deal with those stickies. Okay? And if you put a sticky on you, it will stay. You put it on your head, it will stay. You put them together. Yet you realize that you can bring the stickies together to form a group. You can bring your stickies together to form a group. So you bring the baddies together, form a group, and give them the hardest task too. Okay? They must see that the ground is done, the maintenance, whatever. They'll keep busy. Okay, but I need to know what's the stickies in your life, in your school, and not how you cope with them. What the issues are that they bring to you, because we'll find a way of solving it at the next symposium. Ladies and gentlemen, what I wish I knew when I became a principal, well, I've shown you the task is all there.